Ohio State football's third preseason practice is in the books. We were at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center on Saturday talking to Tony Alford, talking to all of his running backs, and Nathan Baird with cleveland.com, along with Stephen Means and Andrew Gillis. Tony Alford was asked point blank, is this the deepest room you've ever had? He said yes. This is the deepest running back group he's had from 1 through at least 5, and that's without talking about walk-ons like T.C. Caffey, guys that they like that are like a tier below that. So the question is right now, is a deep running back room, this deep of running back room, we've got a returning 2-year starter-ish in TreVeyon Henderson, sort of also a returning 2-year starter, kind of, in Miyan Williams, multiple-year important guy. We've got Dallan Hayden, who came in and played great behind those guys last year. Evan Pryor, a former top 100 prospect. Chip Trayanum, the physical freak of the whole roster. Is it a good thing, Andrew, to have a running back room this deep, or is it a problem because you've got to find touches, you've got to find roles to keep people satisfied?
I think it's a good thing. And I don't mean to paint this, overly optimistically, but running back is a position of attrition. I mean, you see what happens at other levels of football, specifically the NFL. It is a position that grinds you down, and that happens in college. Like, guys get injured, guys get hurt a lot. You're going to want to keep these guys fresh. You want to keep these guys kind of rotating because, again, you're going to get to the point of the year. I mean, the Georgia game last year, think about the Michigan game last year. You don't want to have those guys hurt for those type of games. You want your running backs available and healthy. So I think that, if you're able to rotate these guys, you're able to find key characteristics. I think Alfred mentioned that, like, you want to find roles and skill sets that these guys can do and utilize them to the best of their ability. And I think that's important because there are going to be guys that you like in pass protection on third down more than you like on first down. There are going to be guys who you like in the receiving game more than you like on any other down. So that's just a way to rotate these guys, keep them fresh. I mean, I'm a running back truther in that regard. Where if you have 5 running backs, that's fine. I'm okay with rotating those guys. I think it's fine if you don't have a true workhorse back.
We don't need to tell Ohio State fans that guys get banged up in running back room because they dealt with it these last couple of years with Henderson, with Williams, with guys before that. The issue is that Alford has always approached this. I agree with what you're saying, and that's very much like an NFL viewpoint, that you build a running back in the aggregate. And Alford has never approached it that way. His philosophy is everybody who goes in needs to be able to do everything because that's what makes your offense more unpredictable. You don't want to tip anything to the opponent, or that's one of the reasons. And you also just want everybody to be a well-rounded back. So Stephen, when he's talking about finding roles and finding ways for guys to play, we know Chip Trayanum is going to be a special teams stalwart and all over the place for that. We know Evan Pryor is not probably going to be ready to be a full member of this offense on day one of the season. He's still being kind of eased into things the way he and Tony Alford both talked about it today. So do you believe that there's going to be these sort of roles where they find ways to get people on the field, or do you anticipate a more conventional structure based on what we've seen from Ohio State the last couple of years?
I think it's just going to be what we've seen in the last couple of years. You asked Andrew, is it a good thing that they have this much depth? It's good for this personnel, for those 5 names, because as you mentioned, TreVeyon Henderson and Miyan Williams have yet to play for the season at Ohio State without dealing with something or some things in Miyan Williams' case, because he was also dealing with stuff in 2021. So it's TreVeyon Henderson. So the role, you're saying they're not purposely going to create roles, right? Evan Pryor might be the best guy in the pass game of these 5. They're not just going to have it out there on third down. TreVeyon Henderson's your home run hitter, but you're not only going to use him when you need a home run. Miyan Williams is probably their best power runner, but you're not only going to use him in goal line situations. There's something to he keeps saying it every year. You want to develop a fully well-rounded running back, and the best one's going to play. Now, is it a field situation? Who's in certain situations? Sure. That's part of being an assistant coach and trying to manage personalities and manage your room. But if everybody's healthy through this entire season, I just think TreVeyon Henderson's number 1 and Miyan Williams is number 2. It's just number 1 and number 2 have never made it through a full season. So Dallan Hayden, Evan Pryor, Chip Trayanum might just get opportunities because of that.
Because Trayanum has proven himself so much as like this versatile role, I feel like that's going to always be there for him. And if they need him at the last second to come in and be the running back against Michigan like they did last year, he'll do it. If they just need him to be one of the best special teams players in the Big Ten, he'll do it. Pryor, talking to him off to the side, he believes he can build a role this year. He just knows it's going to take time. He doesn't think it's there on day one. So I don't think this is going to be a problem because I think you can fall into the conventional structure where Henderson and Williams are the 1A, 1B, and then Dallan Hayden comes in as the third back, and I think the only question is whether you try to find him a series earlier in the game or not, or do you just wait for him to come in and just be a terror when they're winding out games that they have big leads in against Youngstown State or Western Kentucky or Indiana, these early games that they have, because you still get a chance for him to come in and feed. I think the one question is, last year when Henderson and Williams, their production was definitely held back by injury. When Hayden played, he was doing things that they weren't doing. Now, how much of that was injury related? How much of that really was that Hayden's performance could go up and challenge them? I think that's maybe the one remaining question as we go into the rest of camp. But I think as we sit here, we expect that to be the top three to start the year, and then we'll see what happens over the course of the year. More discussion about this next week on Buckeye Talk. You get the text 614-350-3315. We were texting it today as soon as it came out of the players' mouths from Buckeye Talk.